before you go anywhere, give me a couple of minutes and I'll explain everything about this video. So a huge passion of mine is presenting the radio. I've done it for about 4 years. I had to take a year gap out from it recently because sadly student radio and volunteering on community stations doesn't pay your rent and bills, so I had to pack it in. And I got to university, I got involved in my student radio station, and that is where I discovered that this is my passion, this is what I want to do in life. And the dream is to one day, hopefully, touch wood, get paid to be a radio presenter. And on that student station called Radio Sonar, I had a show called The Danger Zone. And it was my baby, it was my first big project. It was well before Some Northern Guy and things like that. I kind of went out on my own. I did a show with a co-host called Off the Wall. Fantastic show, fantastic co-host. I don't know if she'd want me to name her on the internet or not, though, so I probably won't. And then in my third year, I started The Danger Zone. I went out on my own, we went separate ways, and still friends and all that. And I made The Danger Zone. And I can't do it anymore, obviously, because I left uni a year ago. I haven't done it for a year, and the final show was so sad and it was so upsetting because I knew I'd probably never be able to present that show again in that format, exactly how it was. And I don't have time to do a live radio show every week. I don't have the hours to commit to it on a regular basis. But what I can do is record a podcast over about 2 weeks or so, edit that into a full-fledged podcast radio show and a YouTube video, and throw it up on the internet. So, ladies and gents, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you all back. And if this is your first time, welcome you to The Danger Zone.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Danger Zone! Well, if you stuck around, then welcome. You're in the Danger Zone, so you better get Kenny Loggins on the end of that phone, because there's no going back now. So, just a quick rundown of what this video is going to be. So, it isn't the first podcast. This is the prologue to the first podcast, and it'll explain what you can expect from the Danger Zone, what's coming up, what features we're going to do, etc, etc, etc. But before anything else, at the start of every single Danger Zone, I used to ask people to tweet me in and tell me why they were hashtag in the Danger Zone. And that's no different here, so jump on Twitter, guys, pause this video, or keep listening. Yeah, leave it on, don't pause the video, keep listening, jump on Twitter, and tweet me in at AYNorthernGuy, and let me know why you're hashtag in the Danger Zone. It could be anything. You could have forgot to put the bins out and now your bin's overflowing, which is why I'm hashtag in the Danger Zone. Oops. You could have forgot to feed your dog, which if you did, shame on you, you're an irresponsible pet owner. Or you could have, I don't know, anything, literally anything. Why are you hashtag in the Danger Zone? Tweet me in. And the best ones, or the most funniest, or the most creative, or the most, oh my god, I can't believe that just happened to a person ones, will get read out on the next podcast. So, I mentioned the little thing called features. That's one of them, hashtag in the Danger Zone. Every good radio show has their features. You look at Radio 1 and Capital, there's the likes of Scott Mills's Innuendo Bingo, things like that. Every show needs them. Danger Zone is no exception. Hashtag in the Danger Zone is the first one. Others that you can expect to crop up, well, how the show worked, there was quite a lot of them that we needed guests to do. We needed a regular person in a studio with microphones and a camera, and I just can't really do that in my one-bedroom flat, you know? So, sadly, half of those are getting scrapped, which is gutting. Essentially, the podcast is going to be split into 5 sections, and each section will be a different feature or a different topic of discussion, something along those lines. Every week, every show, because I'm not sure how long is going to be between them, it might be 2 weeks, that's what I'm aiming for at least. But every show, every podcast, there'll be 2 reoccurring ones. There'll be the Pokemon Center and the Dragon Ball Corner. Now, these may get jigged around if there isn't really anything to talk about on that topic. The Pokemon Center, as you might have guessed, is going to be about Pokemon. Because Some Northern Guy, the YouTube channel, is essentially based around, it's built around Pokemon at the minute. That's what I'm aiming for. Bit stupid, I know, because the market's incredibly saturated, but oh well, it's my favourite game. And Pokemon Center will basically just look at what is happening in the world of Pokemon, with Sun and Moon coming out. I mean, we're due some news in a couple of days. I probably should have waited to do this until we got that big news. And hopefully the plan is to get some bigger names than me, in the Pokemon YouTube community to come on the Danger Zone and have a chat. A very special guest coming on the first official podcast. We have Hannah vs. Reality. If you haven't seen her videos, go check her out. She is brilliant. And if you have Pokemino, then check out her blog. She does some really awesome cosplay stuff. It's fantastic. As for Dragon Ball Corner, that's basically going to be discussing the latest couple of episodes of Dragon Ball Super and predictions for the future episodes. Now, I would love to get some of the big Dragon Ball Z YouTubers over on here, like the likes of Quarman, Blackenfist, Rhymestyle, Thundershot, all of them. That would be so cool. There's so many of them to name as well. You Geekdom, Mike from Laughingstock Media. There's just so many Dragon Ball Z YouTubers, and they all have such a tight-knit community that I don't know if they'd actually come on the Danger Zone to talk about Dragon Ball, but if they ever did, then brilliant. That would be fantastic. So those two are going to crop up probably every single podcast. If something more interesting happens, or there's not really anything to talk about in those subjects, they'll get shunted to the side a bit. The remaining 3 sections will be a mishmash of whatever's been going on in the last couple of weeks, whatever interesting stuff there is to talk about. We're just going to play it by ear. That's what I used to do on the radio. That's what I'm going to do here. And there we go, that is essentially how it is going to work. Now, I am not going to leave it at that. I'm not going to make you come here, sit through 6.5 minutes or so of hearing me explain how it's going to work, and not give you something in return. Not give you a feature. So, the big thing in the UK, at least, at the minute, was that last night, and this is the 30th of May I'm recording this, so last night, the 29th of May, 2016, was the debut of the new season of Top Gear. Now, for anyone who doesn't know what Top Gear is arguably the most popular motoring show ever. Made popular by these 3 guys right here. Jeremy Clarkson, Richard Hammond, and James May. And they had a very good run. They had some very outrageous things on that show. They were just such a good trio, they worked so well together, there was great banter between them, and it was a really good laugh. They did so many specials. They drove across Vietnam on mopeds, for God's sake. They've been shot at. They've been actually legitimately shot at while filming this show. And it's just such... Well, it was an entertaining watch. And then, good old Jeremy Clarkson, bless him, bless his little cotton socks. He got a little bit too annoyed at something and had a heated discussion, shall we say. Something went down, and good old Jeremy got the boot. Hammond and May went with him, and BBC were left with the dilemma of, oh shit, who can we get to present Top Gear? What was their answer? Chris Evans and Matt LeBlanc. Fuck. Not only that, but they also had 4 other presenters who were just kind of shoehorned in, and no one really knows who they are. I mean, there's a racing driver, Sabine Schmidt, which, brilliant, female racing driver, makes a lot of sense. There's also a guy from Formula 1, Eddie Jordan, makes sense. And then they have motoring journalist Rory Reid, makes sense. And then YouTube star Chris Harris. And then, of course, the Stig. Now, I'm probably not the only one who thought that, they are trying to get 6 people to replace the 3 they just got rid of. They don't have a lot of confidence in this, do they? I mean, come on, I want to get into radio. Yes, I really do. But Chris Evans was not a good choice. He really wasn't. And then Matt LeBlanc, well, this is how I reckon Matt LeBlanc got chosen, okay? They were probably having a meeting, thinking, who can we get to come and take over the 3 guys, take over the trio? And a little intern, probably fresh out of uni, maybe in the 2nd year, they're doing like an intern over the summer or something like that, sat right at the back, sheepishly raises their hand and goes, Joey from Friends? The pound signs light up in the producer's eyes. That kid gets promoted, is now probably right up there in the BBC. Matt LeBlanc says yes, because he's probably not doing much at the minute. Boom. What is the point? They thought, nostalgia. Everyone loves Friends. Everyone likes Matt LeBlanc. therefore everyone will like the new Top Gear. No! Alright, for real though, I'm going to stop bashing the thing and give my honest opinion of it. It started off okay. Like, the first couple of seconds, okay. Then it got ruined for me, just because Evans is just... He's trying to be Jeremy Clarkson. He really, really is. He's just... I saw him described on Twitter as a poor man's Jeremy Clarkson. And I couldn't agree more. Then Matt LeBlanc comes out in sort of like some big talk show reveal, door comes up, he walks out waving, everyone's cheering. The audience is like twice the size that it was, and apparently it's a new and improved audience according to Evans. And then, a couple of minutes in, what do? They make fun of Jeremy Clarkson. Of course they do, a catering joke, because that's apparently what the whole big argument was about, the big fallout Clarkson had with the producers, was over catering. So, catering joke, straight off the bat. Just kind of, so far, I mean, he's trying to be Clarkson, now he's poking fun at him for comedic effect, trying to say, look, no, this is us now, we are Top Gear, forget those three. Then, one of the first features they do was essentially talking about, I cannot remember what the car was, and forgive me for this, they were essentially at Top Gun, they were at the actual Top Gun, racing cars around, and they did a feature where they fitted frickin' literally guns from jets on these cars, and they had to get missile lock at each other. They had Sabine in one car, Chris Evans in the other car, and they had two Top Gun pilots with them trying to get missile lock on the other cars. And to win, you had to get missile lock. Now that was brilliant. That, fantastic. I really enjoyed that, because as you can probably tell, Danger Zone takes a lot of inspiration from Top Gun, the song Danger Zone, and Archer. So I appreciated that. Nice one. They did good on that one. So it got better, and then it just got worse again. Everything they did was just so forced, it felt so scripted, especially the narration. When they were narrating over the clips, it felt like they were literally sat there reading from a script. There was no personality. Chris Evans' voice is fantastic for radio. He's a brilliant radio presenter. But it just didn't transition to Top Gear. That's just what I feel. And by the end of it, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be initially, I won't lie, but I probably won't watch it again. Maybe. Just to see if it gets better. I think we've got to give this a chance. It was the first episode. We do need to give it a chance. There are people who were saying, I'm not watching it out of the principle, they'll never be better than Clarkson, Hammond and May, which I don't think they will either, guys. But we've got to give them the chance. Let's just wait. Let's see what they can do. They need to stop poking fun at Clarkson, Hammond and May, especially with all the Clarkson jokes about the catering. Matt LeBlanc went to do, and on that bombshell at the end, and Chris Evans freaked out and said, no, we're not doing that. They were bragging and crying out because they got the custody of the Stig, apparently. It was just forced. Very forced. And they had the most stupidest celebrity guests ever. Why was this a good pair? Gordon Ramsay, who's really good mates with Clarkson, apparently, and Jesse Eisenberg. Where's the relation? Why? And they no longer have Star in a reasonably priced car. Oh no. They have Star in a motocross Mini Cooper with an off-road track, well, off-road sections of the track, with jumps and waters and power slides mixed into the old Top Gear track. And this is nah. But all we can do is give them time. We have to give them a chance. But so far, initially, not good. And the media is going mental. I'm sure everyone has seen Flop Gear, and I'm pretty sure we can all agree it was quite the flop. But don't just take it from me. Go watch it yourselves and form your own opinion. And if you like it, brilliant. No problem at all. And in the meantime, well, there we go. That is it for this Danger Zone prologue. The first official episode of the Danger Zone podcast will be coming out at some point in the next 2 or 3 weeks or so. We'll have Hannah vs. Reality on, like I said, talking in the Pokemon Center. And it's going to work as a full, hour and a half to 2 hour long radio show podcast on Mixcloud and a shorter condensed YouTube highlights video here on YouTube. So you have either one to pick from. I'm looking forward to it. I am excited. Hopefully you are as well. Tweet me in at AY Northern Guy with your hashtag in the Danger Zones, and I'll read the best ones out next show. And if you stuck around this long, then thank you. Thanks so much, and hopefully I'll see you in the next episode of The Danger Zone. Have a good one.